I recently saw the podcast that you did with Andrew and Tristan. Those two guys right there are probably some of my favorite people in the world. Mm-hmm. Not only because of Andrew and his message, but the brotherhood that they share. Mm-hmm. When they went to jail, just the stories that I watched, that from the videos they put out, is really inspiring. I wish I had that relationship with my brother. Mm-hmm. Can you speak to like the friendship that you have with them? Like, what is that like? Because I feel like they're like at the top echelon of men in the world. Mm-hmm. How do you experience that?
I mean, it's interesting because since I grew up in a fight gym, name of your podcast once again, it's real. Fighting is real. Are you a good teammate? Mm-hmm. Are you there just to take or provide value? And through even martial arts, we had that connection, especially Andrew, because he went through it. And because of that, they were able to see, like, is this person real? Is he going to be authentic at the same time? Can he actually fight? These are values that resonate with them, and they saw that I was real, and that's how we built that bond. But with them, I understand they have crazy influence in society, but at the end of the day, I just look at them as like some of my closest training partners. And through that, we built that friendship. We've sparred, we've trained together, we've piggybacked ideas, and I respect that brotherhood they develop because they continuously push men to be better, to tap into their potential for good, to magnify that within the world.
I mean, 100%. Even let's say about a year and a half ago, I had no idea who Andrew or Tristan were, and I think my life was very stagnant. Like, I was in a point in my life where I was looking for something to do. I was kind of coasting, as you could say. I would be working here, doing a little bit of this, doing a little bit of that, making some money, but I would be partying on the weekends just because I didn't have those friends like we spoke about earlier, and I didn't have a clear direction of what I wanted to do. I would say, like, through his content and other, like, people like yourself and people who are preaching things that have a positive impact, I was able to turn myself around in a crazy way. If it wasn't for that or him or his message, I wouldn't be sitting here with you. So it's just amazing to see, like, when people have a platform, and going back to like all the crazy shit that's out here in the world right now, people abuse or take for granted the voice that they have. They don't speak truth.
Absolutely.
They don't speak to the highest ideals of man. They put out poison, like you said, Doja Cat, Lil Nas X.
Of course.
Like, it's really sickening. So what's your thoughts on the state of the world right now?
I think I mentioned it, man. We live in dark times. One of the things I think was missing in society for a long time is we don't have those people in certain positions that are able to actually share the right messages. Like, for example, if you feel lost in fitness, you're going to look up fitness influencers, right? But if they're drug addicts, you might even end up doing that too. So they abuse their position of responsibility. And Andrew, if you look at him like, oh, he's in shape, oh, he can make money, oh, he has great brothers, I want that too. And most men don't have enough of those positive influences in society anymore. Yeah. And fortunately, we do live in dark times. Regardless if you're Muslim, Judaism, Christianity, Andrew found his faith, and he's also promoting find faith, because we live in troubled times now, and we're constantly influenced negatively, and say the voice of the devil, right? So, like, drugs are cool. That's the voice of the devil. Like, if you're gonna abuse drugs, you're gonna feel some negative consequences in your life. Yeah. Right. But if he's like, find your faith, because you need some sort of faith in society nowadays. You need some sort of greater good. And I think morality is detrimental right now. Society's, excuse me, what's the word I'm looking for, is going away, unfortunately, now, because not a lot of people have faith. Because when they turn to certain preachers, and they don't take them seriously. They just don't take them seriously enough to, like, okay, you're a preacher, but you're like 300 pounds, right? Or you're a preacher and you don't have a positive relationship with brothers or women or anything in your life. Yeah. So I can't take you seriously. So I do believe we need more faith in society.
I don't know if you've ever been to a black church. Yeah. But it's a theater.
In a good way or bad?
No, theater in a bad way. Like, it's theatrics.
Oh,
so like you go into a church and the preacher would get all hyped up and they start throwing the holy water around and people start jumping in. And even from a very early age, I was able to recognize that something just isn't right about this. Like, it just seems so fake. Disingenuous. So, that kind of forced me to kind of do my own digging for my own purpose, to figure out what else is out there in the world. I came across a lot of esoteric books on wisdom, books on the history of certain religions, and I was able to find a perfect middle ground for me that allowed me to believe in a higher power, but not necessarily aligning with the specific faith or religion. But I respect all religions, all walks of life. I believe that all of them lead to God in the end. So you're 100% correct. I think everyone needs to see or know that there is something bigger than greater than themselves, and that just when you look at what's happening in the world, like I said before, it's a battle versus good and evil.
It really
So
is.
what side are you on?
You have to pick one. I'm on the good side. So don't look at me when you ask me that.
Yeah.
I'm on the team good. Point I'm trying to make is this. You need to find your faith, whatever it is, because fighting is very spiritual. You've been through that, right? You sometimes realize, I know people that cross themselves before they walk in. I used to do that as well, because you're going through, you have to rely on yourself, but you also have to understand that you're going to get through this. And it's nice to know that you have some sort of faith to help you push those difficult moments. When I started discovering my faith and I started going through that process, there's a voice, I would say, you read that resonates with you, but you have to seek it.
Right.
Because if you look at society, we live in dark times. All we get are negative voices. Do drugs, drink, backstab your friends. They say all these awful things, but you need to seek the other voices too. And once you do, you realize, oh, those are detrimental to my life. So as you start finding your faith, you start trusting that, you start trusting yourself more, you want to do more good in the world.
Right.
Yeah, so I think everyone needs some sort of faith in their life.
That's a very key point that you mentioned. You mentioned you have to seek out what's better for you. You have to seek out better friends. You have to seek out a better way of life, a better way of living. You have to seek out knowledge.
Absolutely.
And it's really disappointing what you said. I'm really concerned about like the world that my son's going to grow up in. He's 13 years old now, and you know he'll go to school and come back singing this some new song that's on the radio. That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm really upset at the music culture that we have, because it's just poison. It's like it's poisoning the minds of the youth.
Of course.
Like when you have the Doja Cats, when you have the Lil Nas X, and not to call them out specifically, but they're great examples of what should not be in the world.
Of course.
Like it's just sick, man. It's just sick.
It can be, but I mean hip hop in particular, right? Hip hop's really cool. Hip hop's you say words like G, pimp, this and that. These are technically they're words. They're words. You can have fun with them in a sarcastic way. Right. But that's not necessarily, you don't believe that. It's just fun. It can be enjoyable to say these words.
Right.
Doesn't mean you have to live that life. Like people walk away like, fuck bitches, get money. Right. They always say these things, but it's just like, you guys still have to act on that. You still have to pretend you want to do these awful things. You can just laugh about a song, have a good time, have a good energy from that. But yes, you are listening to words that are influencing your thoughts in a weird way.